Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Come on, y'all can do better than that. Good afternoon. Hello, hello, hello. I want to say it's good to see some good shining faces at 5, 6 o'clock on Wednesday, right? I just beat traffic trying to come over here. And I came to see a lot of warm faces, man. So this is probably the best place to be, especially want to know about democracy, especially want to know about what's on the ballot, who's on the ballot. So I want to thank you all for coming. We can talk about a whole lot of things, but this America, democracy is the cornerstone of what stands for America. But the cornerstone of democracy is what? Voting. Voting. Electing the candidate of your choice is the cornerstone of democracy. I wear a vote shirt every single day because this is the best place to live, in a place where you can elect someone of your choice, your candidate of your choice. This is the cornerstone of voting because you're able to talk to the candidates about issues and form your own opinion as to who you want to vote for. You don't have to worry about a gun at your head, nobody standing over you, nobody switching ballots. This is America. This is America. This is the cornerstone of democracy, voting. I want to welcome all of you to this candidates forum. My name is Mike McClanahan. I'm the NAACP Louisiana State Conference President. We put this on with Justin Trail and others, and so I'm so glad to see you here. We're not partisan. We only aspire to see those that participate in the process. If you do not participate in the process, don't complain. Don't call the NAACP. Don't call these fine young men and women because you didn't participate. You let them down, you let yourself down, let your family down. So we all want to participate. We all want to have a voice because your voice is in your vote. Your voice is in your vote. So let it speak loudly. I'm going to turn it over to the MC, Michael Grover. There, have that.
Appreciate you, Mike. Okay, my name is Grover Harrison. I'm a citizen of West Baton Rouge. I want to thank each of you for coming out today, and most of all, I want to thank these fine ladies and gentlemen for putting themselves up for election. I mean, they met all the qualifications, and they're here tonight to see if they meet your qualifications, and hopefully earn some votes. Second. This mic. We have only 2 mics, this one and another one. So we're going to pass the mic down for introduction, so give me a moment. I want to read some of the rules of engagement here, and we're going to have at it because we have a jam-packed panel tonight, and we have some questions, and we're going to urge the audience for questions as well. So, here we go, without any further ado. Okay? Welcome to the NAACP and Justice for Trail Voters Candidate Forum for candidates running for multiple offices. We have Port Allen Mayor, Port Allen Council at Large, Port Allen City Council District 1, Port Allen City Council District 2, and Port Allen City Council District 3 are all vying for your vote. We have 2 candidates that have won because they're unopposed. That's the office of City Council District 4 and our Chief of Police. So there will be no spots on the ballot for them. Okay, we have a minister that just entered the building. So Mr. Brown, please come forward. I'd like you to open with a prayer.
Good evening, good evening. Heads are bowed as we pray. Eternal God, our Father, dear God, we come right now in the mighty name of Jesus. And Lord, we just want to say thank you. Thank you, dear God, for grace and mercy. Thank you, dear God, for your love. Thank you, dear God, for every heart that's present. Thank you for every candidate. Lord, we pray right now that you'll touch this forum. Let it be what you want it to be, dear God. Let us do what we need to do decent and in order. We pray and ask you, dear God, to bless this city, bless this state, bless this country. And Lord, we'll be so careful to give you all of the glory, all of the honor, and all of the praise. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Okay. As a reminder, we ask that you turn off cell phones, all cell phones, silence and turn off your cell phones at this time. The NAACP and Justice for Trail are nonpartisan social justice organizations, which means we do not support any candidate or political party. Our formal rules are, we ask candidates and their supporters to refrain from wearing partisan items such as campaign buttons inside this room. Campaign materials may be placed on the literature table at the back of the room. Each candidate must appear in person, no stand-ins are permitted. Each candidate will have 2 minutes for an opening statement and 1 minute for a closing statement after a question and answer session. Time limits will be strictly enforced. Our timers will give candidates 15-second warnings and signal them when the time is ended. To keep things moving, we also ask that candidates use one of the table microphones, which we do not have, so we'll keep it moving by passing the microphone. The order of speaking will be determined by the last names. The candidate who makes the first opening statement the opposite candidate will have the final closing statement. So this actually works out good because we have 2 candidates vying for each position. So one will open and one will give their closing. We also ask that candidate use, okay, no, I lost my spot, I apologize, I need readers. The order of speaking is already determined. Only written questions will be accepted. Cards and writing utensils are at your places. So please, we ask and we urge for audience participation. If it's something you want to know, I will not be asked to just one candidate. It will be asked to all candidates. We want to make sure that we're not targeting any one particular candidate over another. These questions, make sure that the questions are clear and sharp, expressing what needs to be said without unnecessary wording. To the point, questions can't be personal or attacking. All questions must be applicable to your district candidates or all candidates. All questions will be screened, ensuring they meet this criteria. So we're waiting on, we have a couple volunteers that are coming in. They haven't made it here yet, so I'll be doing the screening until they arrive. Candidates will have 2 minutes to answer each question. Let's begin with the opening statement from our candidates. First, we have our candidate for mayor, Mr. Clyde Robinson. Your opening statement, 2 minutes.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Again, thank you all for coming out. My name is Clyde Robinson Sr., and I'm a candidate for mayor. I'm a lifelong resident of this town. I've been attending council meetings for a very long time as a private citizen. That way, I have been able to keep up with what is going on with this city and what they need. I've done a needs assessment on several things that's been requested for the city. And I'm asking you all for your vote. I plan to be here to work with you all, whatever that you need. Thank you.
Thank you. And that's Clyde Robinson. He's a candidate for mayor for the city of Port Allen. Next up, we have Ms. Clarice Lacey. Clarice Lacey, she is a candidate for council at large.
Good evening, everyone. I want to thank you all for coming out, as well as I would like to thank you, the NAACP and the Justice for Trail, for putting on tonight's candidate forum. I am Clarice Lacey. I'm councilwoman at large for the city of Port Allen. 4 years ago, I ran on a Community First platform. In that Community First platform, I believe that the needs of the community comes first, as well as I believe that the needs of the community come first now. Having played an intricate role in the city of Port Allen and in my community, I began to listen to the needs of the people and addressing those needs. And from that, I learned that the need was for better leadership. Not only did they just need leaders, but they needed leaders that they can hold accountable, leaders that they can have access to, leaders that would speak up and speak out, and leaders that would take much needed action when required. I then committed to being that leader. I took those needs and I put it on my Community First platform. And so I stand here today after having committed to my platform and now being proven leadership. And also, I'm still listening. And I hear your needs. The need for change, I hear it. Having been proven leadership, experience now that matters, and dedication that is required, and having gained more knowledge, I'm confident in knowing that I can be the progressive change that people need. And I hope that you are confident in knowing that I can commit to progressive change.
Thank you. Our timekeepers have just arrived. They're at the back. Okay, next we have our Ms. Rhonda Franklin. She's a candidate for City Council District 1. Rhonda, your 2 minutes starts now.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rhonda Franklin. I'm a candidate for District 1 in Port Allen City Council. I'm coming here to thank each of you today, to also pretty much ask for your vote and let you see why I will be the best candidate today. I want to say July 1st, in between July 30th and July 1st, around about the 12 o'clock hour, I spoke to numerous amounts of elders, and they stated that they needed help with something. Numerous times they had come into me for help, and me being me, I just felt as if it was time for someone to actually step up to be able to be a voice for my community. I felt for so long my community has went without a voice, so I actually stepped up and decided to run for District 1. At this time, I feel like I will be the best candidate that will be coming in with a new voice, a new vision, and a new future.
Thank you, Ms. Rhonda. Our next candidate is Ms. Charlene Gordon. She's also a candidate for City Council District 1. Charlene, your 2 minutes starts now.
Good evening. I'm Charlene Gordon, and I'm seeking re-election. I am no stranger to the city. I have always been involved with the city before I was an elected official, and now. I have been continuous progress into the city. I am a voice for my people. No one can ever say that they have ever called me and they did not respond. I have the nickname here is one call, that's all. And I'm continuing to be that voice for the city of Port Allen. I am that experienced candidate. I am the honest candidate, and I am for your people. Thank you.
Okay, next up we have our candidate for District 2 City Councilman, and that is Gregory Payne. Your 2 minutes starts now.
Good evening. I'm Gregory Payne, running for City Council for District 2. I ask for your prayers and your support. I will be accessible and a voice for the people in my community. I'm going to be short and simple. For your support, thank you.
Thank you. Next up is our second candidate for District 2, Mr. Hootie Revere.
Thank you, Grover. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming out. Good turnout. I've been on the City Council. I'm finishing my 5th term. I have been a council member who was there for our employees, there for my constituents. I always felt like I did what was best for Port Allen. I've always been available when needed. When hurricanes came through, as soon as the weather permitted, I was out and about, checking on what needed to be done, what our district needed. And I'll continue to do that. That's all I've ever done. I've been involved in with youth sports, been involved at Holy Family School, but for over 30 years. And I served the community in many different avenues. So all I can do is ask for your vote, and I will continue to be the councilman that's there, not only for District 2. People from all over the city have called, and I've worked with that particular council member whose district that was, and I'll continue to do that. So I appreciate everybody coming out. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have our first candidate for District 3 councilperson, Mr. Elliot Dogan.
Good afternoon, my name is Elliot Dogan. I'm a lifelong resident of the city of Port Allen. I'm also a local business owner here in Port Allen. I'm the owner and the Chief Technology Officer for the Tech Boy Group, which we specialize in IT and video production services. As well as I serve on multiple nonprofit organization boards, the Metropolitan Black Chamber of Commerce, Baton Rouge Community Radio, as well as consult with numerous radio stations for their operational needs. I'm also the person who has pushed the city to start live streaming their council meetings to allow the residents of the city of Port Allen who may not be able to attend the council meetings to still be able to participate and be involved in the civic process. So I'm just working the best I can to bring the experience that I have as a business owner, nonprofit manager, for one, open and transparent communication and actionable results. And that's the thing I think we're currently lacking. I have experience in contract negotiations and different things of that nature, as well as budgeting. So I have the hands-on experience to apply that and move our community forward in things that we feel that we're missing. And I'm not trying to impress my vision, but I have taken time to talk with members of the community and craft a vision of what the community wants Port Allen, District 3, and even parts of West Baton Rouge to see. Thank you.
Next up, we have Mr. Gary Howard. He's a candidate for District 3 councilperson.
Okay, Grover, before we start, could you change Charlene's name tag to Morris Barn? I'm Gary Hubble. I'm running for re-election in District 3. Really, why? I just want to serve. I want to serve the people. This is with me all the time. I'm accessible to anyone. I've been chairman of the West Baton Rouge Parish CVB board for the last 15 years. I've served on the West Baton Rouge Parish Historical Association and Museum Board. I serve as a church council, First Methodist Church in Baton Rouge. I have an affinity for people. I now represent a different area that I see needs a lot of work. I'm committed to that. I'm committed to those existing areas that I represent now. But everyone has to realize it's not government that does it for you. And we don't have the ideas, y'all do. And it's y'all we're going to listen to. And the way I've run this campaign is a little bit different than others. I'm here to listen, to talk, and to heal the very deep divisions we have in this city. I know I can do it. I know I can at least try. Thank y'all for coming out.
Thank you. On this marathon. Appreciate it. Okay, we're going to get right into the meat and bolts of this. My timekeepers. Can someone please come sit on the front? Because I don't know if the candidates can see you in the back when they were giving the signs. Did anyone see? They were holding up the signs. So I need someone to volunteer to come to the front for me, please. Yeah, one is fine. So they'll know where to look. I don't want to interrupt anyone if they're going off. Unless I absolutely have to. Okay, so at your places, I want you to be thinking of questions that you want to pose to the candidates. If you have none, that's fine. We have some preset questions. I'm going to start with those. My volunteers, be on the lookout. When you have a question and you have it written down, please put your hand up so to signify that we're ready to have this, have your card picked up. Okay, and once we collect the cards, then I'll read your questions. Okay? Okay, so what I'll do to start this off first question I start with, I'll start with the candidates for mayor. Then the next question 2 will start with at large, and we'll go down, and so forth and so forth. You got it? We good? We'll progress. I'll keep it cute. I have a scorecard here to keep up where I am. I'm getting old. I want to slip. All right. First question. It will be for you, Mr. Robinson. Why did you decide to run for this office?
That's a good question. At first, when we heard the mayor would not seek re-election, some people came to me and asked me to run. Some business people, locals, been here a long time. They knew I was coming to City Hall on a regular basis. Some people thought I was already on the council. So I thought about it, I prayed about it, I talked about it with my family. But what really gave me the go-ahead to go was when they asked me, they told me, we're not coming to you because you're our friend, but related to you. We're coming because we know you have the qualifications, you have the skill, and you have the ability to get the job done. And that's what really made me run, because I know I have the skills, the ability to get the job done. I have the training, the education, the background. I have over 30 years of government experience. I know how government works. I've hired and fired on all levels of supervision. So all of that has prepared me to become the best qualified person to become the mayor of Port Allen. This is what everybody asks for when they come to the city council meetings. They always say, how the best qualified? How the best qualified? So I'm putting myself to you today, asking you to vote for me because I am the best qualified person for the job based on experience, training, and education. Number 35, Clyde Robertson, Sr.
Thank you. Ms. Lacy? Same question. Why did you decide to run for office?
Well, one of the reasons that I decided to run for office is because I understood that was my purpose. Having played an intricate part in the community, fighting for justice, equality, transparency, and accountability amongst our leaders, I felt like the best way that I could effectuate change and to be the example of what it is that we want our leaders to be is to take a role in a leadership position. So I listening to the people, taking in the needs of the people, looking at some of the areas of our community that require much needed changes in our community, and looking at some of the unmet needs in our community, and realizing that we don't have anyone that's addressing those unmet needs. Didn't know whether it was because we didn't have leaders that wanted to speak on it, or it was just some uncharted territories that leaders just don't want to go into. But I'm up for the challenge, and I didn't mind going into those uncharted territories. So having a role in leadership was the better way that I feel like that I would not only be doing my civil duty, but also that I be represent the people to the best of my ability.
Thank you. Ms. Franklin, same question. Why did you decide to run for office?
I don't want to get too over time, so I just do want to let you guys know that I'm looking at my phone because I took numerous amounts of notes as far as what I was going to speak on, and I don't want to over-talk what the actual question is, so I'll go from my notes. I decided to run for office because I care deeply about the future of the community and the quality of life for the people who live here. For too long, blighted homes and neglected properties in our district have been a symbol of disinvestment and decline. These issues affect not only the appearance of our neighborhoods, but also our safety, property values, and the pride we take in where we live. As someone who has always been involved in local efforts and community engagement, I've seen firsthand the impact these blighted properties have on families and businesses. I believe it's time for fresh leadership with a clear vision for revitalization. I'm committed to working with residents, local leaders, and organizations to clean up the homes and turn them into assets for our community. By running for City Council District 1, I hope to bring a renewed focus to the issue and ensure our district is a place that we can all call home.
Okay, Ms. Charlene Gardner, I'm actually sifting through questions. Why did you decide to run for office?
Okay. I decided to run for office a long time ago for the parish. And then I decided that I was going to run for the city because I felt that it was a need for me to do for the community in the city of Port Allen. I too love to work with people. I'm a people person. I get along. I work with different levels of government. I just didn't start wanting to be a council member. The things that I was doing in the community before I was elected as a council member, I was doing it already. So it wasn't hard for me to come on board and help lead the city in the right direction. No, we have not solved all the problems in the city. No, we cannot solve all the problems in the city. I would not be telling you the truth that we can solve it. But can we work together to solve it? Yes, we can. Can we please everyone? No. Someone is not going to always be pleased. But it's my job to listen to your concern. It's my job to follow up with you on your concern. Not one time that I have ever been called to do a task that I did not complete in a timely manner. Yes, I am Charlene Gardner. I have been a lifelong resident of Port Allen. I know the needs that the city needs. I try my best to fulfill that. Again, I'm not perfect, neither are you. But can we work together? Yes. Can we get together and do community service together? Yes. So it's just not just me. It's all of us that need to work together to make Port Allen the great city that we are. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Payne.
Gregory Payne, lifelong citizen of Port Allen. I will be the voice, visible for the city of Port Allen, for my people, my city of Port Allen. Thank you very shortly.
Mr. Revere.
Why I decided to run for office, to be in a position to make a difference. You know, everybody can make a difference, but not everybody is in a position and has the avenues to accomplish certain things. And I feel like I have made a difference. I've established, you know, working relationships with officials in parish government, the mayors of Addison, Brewleaf. If I need to call on those guys, or we need to call them, because we can't do this alone. Sometimes there's projects in Port Allen, we don't have the manpower, we don't have certain things, but I feel like I have made a difference in that way. I've been part of, I don't know if any of you are aware, we have an annual road rehab. Every year we pick out 3 or 4 or 5 streets, depending on how much materials cost, and we repair those roads. And we move around the city. So for the most part, I've had people come to Port Allen and say, man, the roads in your town are good. I said, it's part of our road rehab program. Instead of trying to tackle 15 streets in one, you know, you can't do it. So, and I've been, you know, part of the purchase. I led the fight to finally get a vac truck. And it's one of the most valuable pieces of equipment that we've purchased. We purchased that within budget. And there are numerous things. I hope to touch on them later as the night goes on. But for now, I guess the main reason why I decided to run was to be in a position to make a difference, and I feel like I have.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Dogan, same question to you.
The reason I decided to run was because we have needs in the city of Port Allen. We need to annex down Court Street. We need more rooftops. We need more grocery stores. We need opportunities for small businesses here in Port Allen. Through my relationships with the various Chamber of Commerce, Economic Development, the information and relationships that those opportunities have afforded me, we can bring those opportunities back here to Port Allen. We can have an SBA branch over here that would help businesses get access to resources. And guess what? When we start businesses in Port Allen, the money stays here in Port Allen. We can employ more people in Port Allen. We can have growth. So those are some of the basic things that we need. We need sewer infrastructure. There's matching grant funds, matching federal dollars. We need to deal with more aggressively with blighted blighted properties. Put those properties back into commerce, not just force people to clean it up, but the adjudicated property that we're not going to collect any revenue on, we can put those back into commerce and have healthy, safe, strong communities. So those are just some of the things that I'm looking at in improving, and let's work towards it. Let's have continual conversations. Not just throw proposals out there and leave it on the table. Let's work towards it.
Mr. Hubble, close us out.
Okay, I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. I just want to serve again. I want to be able to work with the new administration who's coming in it's open to a lot of new ideas. There are some things that are on the horizon. I want to be a part of that and help steer that in the right direction.
Thank you. Okay, I want to remind everyone at your places, your questions cannot be aimed at one candidate. They have to be appropriate for all candidates. So I will read several of the questions. I'll just reword some of the ones that are directly aimed at candidates. So please keep that in mind. No questions directed at one individual or one particular candidate. Okay? So, Clarice, Ms. Lacey, I'll start with you first. What are your plans to improve, particularly from a beautification standpoint, the main thoroughfare of Port Allen? What's your plan to beautify the city?
My plans to beautify the city in terms of elaboration to be able to address that question.
Port Allen should look like our sister cities, Denham Springs, Zachary, or even Brewley. So this is the question I was stating. So beautification, what is your definition of beautification? What will be your plans to enhance the aesthetics of Port Allen?
Well, that seemed like a place where I would have to make sure that I work closely with our mayor to ensure that our city employees is doing their job. The city employees is responsible for beautifying the city, but any resources that we need, I'm definitely on board to ensure that we have those resources afforded to the city of Port Allen. As a council member, my job, and council at large, my job is to make decisions. We must also understand that some decisions that we make and some roles and some responsibilities that your council members may have versus the roles that your mayor may have. So that's an area that I'm just working with my mayor to ensure that the city employees is keeping our city beautiful. And I think they do a wonderful job with that right now. Thank you.
Ms. Franklin, same question.
Can you repeat the question, please?
What are your plans to beautify the thoroughfare, which is Highway 1 of the city of Port Allen, or your district, because you may not encompass Highway 1. What would you do for your district?
Okay, so what would I do for my district? I'm gonna start with my district first, and then I'll move to Highway 1. So as far as doing my district, what will be my plan is to clean up my district. As far as reaching out to each of the homeowners, notifying them of debris, the blight, the torn down houses, dumpsters, trash lingering. Maybe by reaching out to them to try and get them to reach out to possibly the mayor or reach out to someone to possibly help them to clean up the debris that is lingering, trash, maybe reach out to Republic and try to get Republic to clean it up. And as far as Highway 1, I really honestly feel that Port Allen Highway 1 is already beautified. I mean, it's a little more that can be done, but I think those guys are doing an excellent job at what they're doing.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Clark, same question. What are your plans to improve, particularly from the beautification standpoint, the main thoroughfare, Highway 1, of the city of Port Allen or your district?
In my district, I work closely with our city worker, Lance, to make sure that he notifies all the homeowners of their yard cuts, trash around their house, and debris be picked up in a timely manner. Again, we can all say that we can do this and do that, but it's all up to the homeowners. We have to stay on the homeowners to beautify their yard. They will have to want their district and their community fine. Yes, we do have a worker to go around and check the grass cutting, to check the houses, to remove unused cars out their yard. And to work closely with him is a good thing, because you can ride around in your community and see what needs to be done that he may have missed. LA1 is beautiful. Commends our city employees, a job well done. Keep West Baton Rouge beautiful for a job well done. And to keep our citizens and the city of Port Allen clean, I think we have citizens doing a great job of keeping our yard, the litter from off the highway, a good job. And I thank our city employees who doing a wonderful job. The mayor to keep it on to make sure that the city is clean. Why we have never won the cleanest city in Port Allen, I don't know, but we are that.
Thank you. Mr. Payne, your question. What are your plans to beautify and improve the main thoroughfare of Highway 1 or your particular district?
I'll start off with LA1. Not that LA1 is all that bad, but the road is. The highway is really bad. To beautify the city, not so much my district, but the tires in Port Allen that's behind fences and mosquitoes and that type of stuff. Secondly, I would like to say our park on 14th Street. We beautify that more by putting benches, crepe myrtles, just like we did on the boulevard up here. That would help beautify our city by putting benches when the elderly are walking. They can stop and sit down. When it's hot, they got crepe myrtles that they can sit under, water fountains through that park. I think that would help beautify the city a lot. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Revere, same question.
Thank you. About LA1 first, the condition of the highway itself, everybody knows is terrible. I've been in communication with Senator Caleb Klein-Peter. He assures me that that project will be up for bid next April of 2025. It's a slow process, but LA1 is a state highway. I guess everyone realizes that. So we beautify, we maintain the grass and that kind of the shrubbery. But LA1 itself, that's a state highway. And supposedly that's going to be, that goes out for bid, like I said, next April. As far as my district and the other districts around Port Allen, I was instrumental in hiring Third Coast Architecture to condemn and demolish a blighted property. It's a process. A lot of T's have to be crossed, a lot of I's have to be dotted, and you have to do it exactly the right way. We used to depend on the parish planning and zoning to write up our reports. That was when they were not overwhelmed with their work, then they could squeeze us in and write one a year maybe. We hired Third Coast. They've been, I would say in the last 3 years, we've condemned and demolished 10 properties. That's, again, it doesn't sound like much, but when you see the process that we have to follow to do that, it's incredible. So those are some of the things I'll do to beautify Port Allen and continue.
Thank you. Mr. Dogan, your question.
So when it comes to beautifying a property, I sat on planning and zoning for about 2 years. And one of the things that the late chairwoman was instrumental in instituting was, for one, the sign ordinances relating to businesses. If we hold our businesses to a higher standard from their facades along LA1, that would increase the beautification along LA1 in general. There's no reason signs should be falling down, almost dangerous to park or be near. Even the Port Allen train depot could use a better facelift. And I think we can all do that through Louisiana Department of Recreation and Tourism for things like the depot and other what we would call historical landmarks in Port Allen. Around District 3, once again, deal more aggressively with the blighted property, but let's also create a path for maybe a lot of that property that's abandoned, adjudicated and abandoned. In other words, property we can't contact or find the owners with it, or the owners refuse to do anything at all with it, and they go through the adjudication process to put that back in commerce. So if you're living next door to a blighted property, like in Baton Rouge, and you're mowing the grass, keeping it up, or you're interested in it, let's give you first opportunity to get that property through the adjudication process and put it back in commerce, and that way it builds equity.
Mr. Hubble, your question.
Okay, to answer your first question on the LA1 corridor, the present administration does keep that up. It's cut, it's really nice. The lights do need to be fixed on the Port Allen entrance sign. They haven't worked in a number of years. Another thing that actually was Hootie's district and I butted up against each other is a Whitehead Boulevard walking project. We worked on that, it was about 5 years ago. We started that. And we did have some residents that said, look, we don't really like that. I said, well, maybe we just need to wait and see the final project. Which those people, I know, came up to me and said, look, it did turn out nice. That was a grant from the state. The city paid 20%, the state paid 80%. I received a grant from the CVB for the lights and benches, and I also arrange every year for the Christmas displays on there, which cost us considerably, but the city doesn't pay for any of that. That has been an amenity to the city also in that area, and 225 magazine last year did an article and a feature on it. Also, the levee top needs to be improved. We do have bushes up there that they're dead, and a lot of it's dead, and those things need to be refreshed. That is the most photographed spot in the parish, in West Baton Rouge Parish. It needs to be kept up better. There are different things we can do. The blighted project, which I'll get into later, those are things that we all want to see. Okay.
Stay there, save you some steps. I'm going to give Mr. Robinson my microphone. Mr. Robinson, your question. What are your plans, particularly from the beautification standpoint, of the main thoroughfare of Highway 1?
Thank you. On Highway 1, it is a state highway. It's in bad shape in some spots right now. It's not too much that the city can do about that. We will be working with the state for projects like that. I will continue to work with the committee that's taking care of the landscape that's out there now. It looks good, the banners look good when they put it up. I don't know if we can put too many benches in that area. One thing about Port Allen, we're kind of landlocked. The other property is for the homeowners and the businesses that are along LA1. Now, I will work with the businesses to make sure that their buildings are looking better than what some of them are now. We can make some improvements there. We may have to strengthen our rules, our regulations, but we can make some improvements there to make sure that they are keeping their part up, so when we have businesses coming through, it will look decent and in order. From that point, I think that's about mostly what we can do, is just keep working with the people that are keeping the center part, the median clean. And we can't put too much there because you'll have distractions when you're crossing there now. So we have to be real careful that we maintain that with some areas, making sure that they're not that encroaching upon our sites.
Thank you, Mr. Robinson. Next question. What is the most pressing issue in your district once you're running? This is an audience question. What is the most pressing issue in your district? I will start this with, I'm going to go down to the end of the table. They always finish last, so I'm going to start this thing off. Mix it up. There we go. Let's work it backwards.
Okay, Grover, I think that the most pressing issue is something that transpires in every district, blighted property. If I blight, while you're always going to have that, and there's different areas there's different ways to address it. While you're going to have that, I remind everybody of the analogy of going to buy to a used car lot, you're going to look at all the cars, and all of them are clean, except this one over here has busted glass and it's dirty. Is that going to attract you? That's not going to attract you. And that's what happens with these houses. And anybody, any family, childbearing family, which is what you really want, we want everybody, but that's what you kind of focus on that. They're not going to relocate here if they feel it's unsafe. Those type of houses are havens for crime. That's all it is. Broken window theory is what they call it. And if we don't clean that up, and you have that everywhere, Baton Rouge has it, they have, I think they have, I forget the number, I think it's 60 some odd right now on the books. Those are things that I think is the most pressing. I think there's a need for more sidewalks, and that at the end of the day, the homeowners need to take responsibility of your property. It cannot be the city. We need to maintain what is ours, but also at the same time, the citizens have to maintain their own property.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Morgan.
So, blight is definitely one of the major issues within my district that I'm hoping to represent. Anyone who's rode through the ferry will see the dilapidated, broke down property, whether it's residential and in some cases commercial property. Once again, there are funds that we can use once we get through the adjudication process to rehabilitate some of this property, put it back into commerce. Because yes, we want to see it clean, we want to see it look nice, but we also want to see it generate tax income, property tax income for the city. That way, it contributes to the city as a whole. One of the next things that I believe that we need to tackle is our garbage service. I think we may not necessarily need to dump our current provider, but one thing we do need to look at is actually negotiating a contract. Most of the things that we're lacking are enforceable provisions in the contract that are just not there. Republic presents us a contract, and we agreed to it. All the upside for Republic, none of the upside for the city, all downside. So we want to make sure that the contract is equitable for both sides. But if we pay for a service, that's the service we need to get.
Okay, Mr. Revere, your question.
Sound like a broken record, but obviously blight is always on everybody's mind. I'll touch on that real quick. Goes back to Third Coast. We We are trying to clean things up. It does take time. Another one is infrastructure. Our wastewater treatment plant, I see one of our retirees from that department in the audience. He could speak firsthand on the condition of our plant. We're putting Band-Aids on it. We received some ARPA money. The last 2 years, we've made wise use of it. But the bottom line is we're putting Band-Aids on the sewer plant. We are in the process of searching for some property to build a new plant, a completely new plant. That doesn't happen overnight, but you have to start somewhere. And I would think another issue would be smart growth. Let's take it slow, which we have. You don't want to rush anything. You don't want to have more rooftops than the infrastructure can handle. So smart growth, continue the fight against blight, and maintaining our infrastructure.
Thank you. Mr. Payne?
First, I'm going to start off with the sewage. I've seen it firsthand on the Oaks, where it's backed up in the yards of the Oaks. That's the most important thing I think that we need to get grants for, and if elected, I will work with the leaders in the councils to get grants to move the sewage plant out of the Oaks. It's bad. For those that live on Oaks, know that it's bad, has seen it backed up in yards just down my street. So the sewage treatment plant would be definitely my number one in infrastructure. The roads, we talked about that. That sewage treatment plant would definitely be my number one priority, if you like, to get it out of those.
Thank you, Mr. Payne. Ms. Gordon, your question.
Yes, in my district, my main concern is the cemetery. The cemetery needs to be clean, not just by the elected official, but by the community itself. We all have loved ones that are buried there. And it's not just the responsibility of the elected official. Yes, I have volunteered several times cleaning that cemetery up, but I still need your help. Unused vehicles in the yard definitely need to be moved. That's something that our city inspector worked on dearly, about getting unused vehicles removed. Abandoned property. Yes, there's a lot of abandoned property, but we must understand, we just can't go there and tear down people's property. It's a rule that you have to follow. It's a guideline. You have to find out who the owners are, if it's connected with the air, and then you move forward. Yes, it's a process, but it has to be done. We just can't say it's in the city limit and we're gonna have to tear it down. That is someone's home, someone's property. We don't know if they have a hard time or what, or why it's not fixed up. But do we want to look like that in our neighborhood? No. We want a safe environment in our neighborhood. Before we can start complaining about other people's home, we have to look at ours first. And then when we correct our problem, then we can move in the neighborhood and work with the other neighbors. Some of our neighbors are elderly that may need help fixing up their homes. I'm always willing to volunteer to whatever I can do in my community and in my district.
Thank you, Ms. Gordon. Ms. Franklin?
The most pressing issues in the office that I'm seeking, particularly for our district, revolve around conditions of the neighborhoods and quality for the life of the residents. The top concerns include blighted homes and neglected properties, public safety, economic development and job creation, infrastructure and public services, and community engagement and trust. Addressing these challenges requires not just policy changes, but active involvement for residents, businesses, and city to work together in transforming our district.
Okay, Ms. Lacy, your same question.
Okay, district-wide, what I see is that we are not enforcing the ordinance that we have in place. District 1 is abandoned cars, high grass, and blighted homes. District 2 is sewer issues, straight animal control, and downtown revitalization. District 3 is blighted homes, high grass, and sewer issues. District 4 is the need for street lights and also high grass. I have spoken to many members of District 3, and I had the opportunity throughout this time period of campaigning to walk down the streets in District 3. And Avenue B, I must say, may have 7 houses on the street. The rest of the houses are blighted homes. We have to put a plan in place. And one of the plans, I think, is to be able to look at these homes that, the family members don't have money to open up successions for these homes. So looking at ways that we could connect with law centers at these different universities to come in and maybe give us some discounted rates on helping these families to be able to open up the successions for these homes so we can move further with the blight issues, with the high grass issues, that is, again, and the abandoned cars, the nuisance violation. We have these ordinances in place, and these ordinances must be enforced. The purpose of having a council is because of for legislation. But it does no good if we don't have oversight. Mr. Lance is our city inspector, and we have to have oversight in those areas to make sure that those areas are properly being addressed. Okay. Pest control. Okay.
Mr. Robinson, your same question.
Throughout the city, while I've been walking, I've seen what the city needs. Yes, we have a blight problem in some areas, and we have to be careful how we handle it. Again, I say we're going to have to strengthen some of our rules and regulations on how we handle this issue. Throughout the city, I've seen some houses that needs to be repaired. I've talked with some of the citizens. They need some assistance. I have experience with writing grants that will help these citizens. I have experience with redoing their houses and giving them some needed information. In Baton Rouge right now, I'm working with some contractors. There are millions of dollars in Baton Rouge being spent right now. These people are willing, the contractors and the agencies are willing to come to Port Allen to assist us. We just finished a house with a gentleman. They did over $100,000 worth of repairs for him. It didn't cost them anything. And it wasn't just some little minor repairs, roof, floors, walls. And what was good about this project, it wasn't government funded. This was from private foundations. And that's what I like. The government can't solve all our problems. It has to be us sometimes. And I want you to keep your eye on the project we're going to be doing for a citizen right on LA1. We were talking about beautification of LA1. You're going to see some improvements to one of the houses that really need it real bad. Probably before this month is out. It's going to be phase 1, just stabilizing the project, the house, and get it to look better. So the city can take it off their list. But we have to find ways, and like I said, the government is not always the answer. I work to get the government off the people's back.
Thank you. Okay, next question, audience question again. What is your plan to improve communication between the city and its response to citizens? What do you have a communication plan to put in place between the city and its response to the citizens? Yes. Mr. Robinson?
That's kind of simple. Just open the dialogue. My doors will always be open for you. Come in if you have a problem. Just come and talk to me. Let's see what's wrong. For as communications, we need some more technology in the city. We will be reaching out more with social media. You can just dial in, send something, through email, text message, whatever. But that's just easy. Just come and talk to us. Let us know what you need. And it'll be open communications.
Thank you. Ms. Lacy?
The plan to keep an open flow of communication would be the same plan that I have been operating in, and that's staying in constant contact with the community, being a part of community activities, promoting community activities, bringing a flow of information from the council to the people and back from the people to the council. I've been able to do this because I communicate with people. I keep an open door policy. I'm on Maryland Street, I'm in Hubbins, I'm in Family Dollar, I'm visible, I'm accessible. You can talk to me, I'm coming, I come to your house. I love to communicate. I am here because I am a communicator, and I am someone who not only just communicate, but I listen and I speak out. So people like to talk to leaders who they know that they're just not gonna have these communications, but also is gonna take what it is that they're communicating about and bring that to the council so they can see some changes take place there. So communication is definitely, the flow of communication is very important, because today you could best believe that the people want to be part of the table. They want to sit on these modern day political communications at the table and want to be involved. As well as Mr. Clyde said, technology. We live stream our council meetings, so therefore we can have the people being able to watch it and live stream the meetings if you're not able to come to the meetings. Social media, that seems to be a good outlet. So we could just utilize whatever avenues that we could to keep open communication.
Thank you, Ms. Lacy.
The flow of communication. My flow of communication, if elected for District 1 City Council, I will be able to communicate. I will not walk in here and let each of you know what I will do today and walk out of here and forget about what I will do. So I'm saying all that to say that me being who I am, I'm a local business owner in the city of Port Allen. My face is always on the platform. There's many days in and days out that anyone is allowed to open my door and occasionally take service right off of the highway to be able to speak with me at any given time.
Thank you, Ms. Franklin. Ms. Gordon, your question.
Having an open communication, being available to your constituents, and responding in a timely manner for any concern, involving citizens with things going on in the city, and advertising job openings. One, to let them know that we are trying to hire our in people, these people of the city of Port Allen, and let them know that we are here to help them. A lot say that we don't like to hire our own people in the city of Port Allen, but that's not true. We have an open door policy. I have an open door policy. No one can ever say that they have never tried to get in contact with Charlotte Gordon, and she never responded back. If you call me, I'm going to answer. You ask for my help, I'm going to be there. If you need me to come see you, I'm coming. I have always been that person, and I always will be that person. I'm a continuing process, and I will be your voice for the city of Port Allen.
Thank you, Ms. Gordon. Mr. Payne, same question.
As an elected official, it's not just about the council. It's about talking to your constituents and involving citizens of Port Allen with what's going on. We as the council, if elected, can't just make the decisions. We have to involve our residents, or I say residents, but our constituents of Port Allen. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Payne.
Communicating with our citizens, I feel like I do that. And communicating with the mayor and his staff, I think they probably get tired of seeing emails coming from me when I hear concerns. Because I do, I reach out. And when I do know of a problem, hear of a problem, something I'm not aware of, I contact the department heads, the people who can remedy the problem. So as far as communication, no, I may not be knocking on people's doors every single day, hey, what do you need, what do you need? But my ears are open, and I have a good working relationship with City Hall and our department heads to try to get remedies for certain situations that do pop up.
So, communication. So as a business owner, as well as the head of multiple nonprofits, I have to answer my phone at all kind of strange and interesting hours, as well as a lot of my clients are pastors, ministers, in church institutions, and they keep weird hours. So my family will tell you I'm very responsive, whether it's via email, via text message, phone calls. If I've just gotten off from an 8-hour shift and I want to sleep, I have picked up the phone, answered a call, and driven to Hammond to fix a problem for a client. And one of the things that I think we can do that's front-facing the community is Port Allen needs a working website. If anyone's ever tried to put a work order into the city website, it generally goes to one person. Well, I come from an IT background. When one of our clients puts in a ticket for a problem, that doesn't go away until it's resolved, and everybody is notified of the communication. So whether you call me as a council person or you yourself decide to put in a work order on the city's website, you'll get continual updates via email or text message until that issue is resolved. And every department head that's involved in that particular issue, your council person and administration will all be involved in that chain of communication. So everybody's on one accord.
I'm gonna make mine short and sweet. In this day and age, a lot of people rely on this to converse. While it's a good thing, and this way it reaches a lot of people, it's not really conclusive. I've always believed that nothing takes the place of sitting down in front of somebody and talking. That you can truly see and understand their problem. This doesn't. I'm open to that. I propose that, and I will sit down with anyone and talk about anything that you want to talk about.
Thank you. Mike, I want to start this question with Ms. Lacy and then Mr. Robinson, because it's board council, and I'll get feedback from everyone that's on the panel. Okay? So the order will be Ms. Lacy to Mr. Robinson, and we'll do out the rest of the candidates. Okay, audience question. Earlier this year, a developer proposed an $18 million apartment project that was met with resistance. After that plan was shot down, how do you plan to recruit and grow new businesses in the Port Allen area? Ms. Lacy, your question first.
Well, let's talk about one of the reasons why that proposal didn't go through. One of the reasons that I looked at the area, first of all, I had to consider the people that lived in the area. As council people, it's not up to us to just make all the decisions for the people. We have to make sure that we're including our community. The public hearing had taken place with no opposition nor no tie-ins. I went further on to put the information out there so I can get that communication open to the people to understand what it is that they may want in their backyard. An apartment complex in a city that's suffering with traffic issues already, an apartment complex in an area where our public safety isn't up to par, and we have high crime that's right across the bridge. And for the fact that that may come into our community, and we don't have public safety up to par, then we may have a dilemma there. As well as we just had a development that took place that we annexed in the city of Port Allen with about 600 rooftops coming in. I counter propose that we look at some senior citizen living, because we don't have a senior citizen resident or living a community anywhere in the city of Port Allen, and it seems to be safer. As well as we are trying to promote homeowners. One of the big issues was we have these workers that come into the city, and they need somewhere to be for the time period that they're here in the community. Well, I'm not looking for temporary, I'm looking for permanent. And in order to be able to have businesses, we have to have rooftops. So if we're looking at rooftops, then we have to have homeowners to be here, to live in the city.
Mr. Robinson, your question. Earlier this year, the developer proposed $18 million apartment project that would met with resistance. After this proposal was shut down, what is your proposal to bring growth to the city of Port Allen?
Okay. I was in many of those meetings with those developers and with the citizens. The citizens didn't like it. They're concerned about crime. Apartments, when you first start off, they all look good. They talk about how elaborate they're going to be exclusive. But everybody knows sometimes when the economy changes, that changes. The owner has to get his rents from somewhere. So then he changes, he lowers his standard. What I would do, I would work toward more home ownership to bring in development. These same developers have told us they need more rooftops. So I would work to bring in more rooftops to make sure that we're getting people. If you spend $100,000, $200,000 on a home, chances are you're going to take good care of it. You're going to make sure it's a good order. Chances are you won't get as much crime from people being transit, coming in and out, renting this month, they're here, the next month they're gone. So that's what I would continue to do, bring in more rooftops. Bring in more rooftops, you get more businesses, and that's what the people say they need, the rooftops. I would also work with the schools to make sure we have our kids coming in. We bring in more kids, we bring in more rooftops. If the schools are up to standard, it brings in more rooftops. If you look at a lot of the surrounding parishes, it's because of the education system. So this fair will be different. Yes, I will be at the school. I will be looking at what are they doing to keep the kids here, because that's what brings the people to town. Most people will pay more in taxes, and I don't believe in high taxes, but they will pay more for taxes for a home if they have a good school system. So that's what I will continue to work on. More rooftops to bring in more businesses. That's what the developers say they need, more rooftops.
Mr. Dogan? Mr. Dogan, your question.
So, the way I looked at the project, and I was in the room for all the conversations with the public meetings. I was there when it sat before the planning and zoning. I was there when it went before the council. And some people may not like the answers, but we needed the rooftops. Yes, these were going to be a higher tier apartment complexes. So that eliminates your Section 8 type housing, the issues that come along with that. There'll be more scrutinized, and you can put all of this into conditions of the permits being passed. And the developers said it frank in the room. At this point, what it's zoned at right now, they can come put a truck rest stop right there. So would I rather residential have been there rather than possibly some other commercial, something like a truck rest stop or something that will really cause a traffic headache? Yes. You do have workers I've seen firsthand. I've met a lot of these people that come in, work 6 months in West Baton Rouge or the Port Allen area for 6 months at a time. They're staying in the hotel where some very shady things are going on, and they want a place where they can bring their families in for 6 months, for say 2-3 months, stay, and then their family goes back out while they're doing their turnaround. And so, yes, it was gonna be a gated community. We could have put various barriers in between existing property owners and the new property.
Okay, Mr. Hubble, your question.
Okay, in regard to the development, I'll expand a little bit on that. On that Westview Crossing, you have about 640 planned units in that. You're going to have a minimum of at least 2 cars per household, some more. The development that you were asking about was, I believe, 60 units like that. Looking at probably two vehicles per unit there. For a total of about 1,400 vehicles that you're putting on 2-lane Court Street, you're adding to that. Now, if anybody can tell me here we don't have traffic problems over here, I don't know where you're driving. But that's what you're looking at. Remember that when these developers come in, they sell these lots and they're gone. We have to stay here and clean up the mess. And that's exactly what's going to happen, because I asked them, what is your traffic solution for Court Street? There was none. So it's just like taking into consideration the bridge and where it curves in that one line. Don't you think that should have been thought out a little bit better? Well, that's why this should have been thought out. I know we need rooftops, I can get that, and I'm all for it. But you need to have other things in place before you start pulling the trigger on that.
Okay, Mr. Uda, your question.
Okay, about the proposed apartment development that was shot down, I guess my main, well, 2 reasons. The density of it, to me, we just didn't need it, you know. But I guess my main concern was the pushback that we received from the residents, Mr. Payne being one. It would have been in his backyard, and I respected the residents, because that's the back part of what is my new District 2. So that was it. That was the main reason, was the pushback from the residents.
Okay, Mr. Payne.
As part of the Planning and Zoning Commissioner, I was a part of that. Yes, we need rooftops, but do we need them in my backyard? No. No. And that's where they wanted to put the apartments, and I was a part of that. Wasn't for it, not for it, and not going to be for it. Do we need rooftops? Yeah, we need rooftops. I would love to see more rooftops in Port Allen, but just not in my backyard.
Thank you, Ms. Gordon.
Yes, on that council meeting, we had several residents came out against the project. And it's our job to listen to and to listen to our citizen concern. No one wanted that in their backyard. Yes, they say it's gonna be apartments. They're gonna be gated apartments. But how long do we keep a gated apartment before it turn out to be blinds, people breaking in a neighborhood? No security. So yes, we voted it down. Yes, we do need rooftops. But we also want to keep Port Allen safe. We don't need to bring people from other parts of Baton Rouge and all over the other areas into our community and destroy our elderly where they are afraid to stay at home at night or to leave their home at night. The apartment, yes, we do need apartments, but we can find better place for apartments. We can find better place for a rooftop. But we also have to listen to our citizens and what their concerns are.
Thank you, Ms. Gordon. Ms. Franklin.
I am in agreement with the council as far as rooftops. And I also think that that was not the place for an apartment complex to be built. Reason being is because of the high crimes that are being brought on to Port Allen. And it is a concern for a lot of my constituents. So I don't think that it was a perfect area for it to be built in. As far as different businesses being brought on to Port Allen community, I honestly do think that, you know, things can be brought on, things should be brought on, but that is just not the area that it needs to be.
Okay, thank you. question's going to go to the mayor candidates first, and then your question, then we'll take it to Ms. Clemens. Okay, after this question, we're going to take a brief intermission and recognize, see our chief has exited the building, and any other candidates that are currently elected, we want to acknowledge you, or those that are seeking office, I'd like to acknowledge you guys as well. Okay, this question, final question before break. What is your plan to recruit and keep young talent in the city of Port Allen?
Young talent in terms of employees, or just to keep the residents here?
Let's answer it in the form of staff and residents. Because it is specified.
Okay. Staff is it?
Staff and residents. Okay.
But first with staff, we have to make our job attractive. Then we have to come up with a plan to reach out further than our local people. Yes, let's advertise first. We want to go with our people first, but use social media and other items, other avenues to reach out for the employees. We need to make our jobs attractive. If we keep our jobs attractive with good pay, good working conditions, then we can keep our people here, because that's what they're looking for now. Young people are looking for work conditions. Some people want to work at home. Everybody doesn't want to work in the office all day long. So that's some of the things we have to do to make sure that we can keep. We also have to make sure we continue to keep this city safe while campaigning. Some people that have just moved here, they said that's why they came here, because the city is safe. So I will be working with the chief of police to make sure our town stays safe. When we lose employees or when we lose officers, I would do an exit interview to make sure that we did our part. If it was paid, let's change the pay scale. You have to pay people these days. The scales have changed a lot. What we thought was good money years ago, these youngsters are getting it, staying at home, playing online. So we have to keep it attractive, keep the job attractive, to keep the people here. And make sure they're getting the benefits along with safety of the city. Same thing with the officers, make it attractive. We may have to come up and give them benefits that we never gave before. I go to these meetings, and every 2 or 3 months, we're hiring new officers. We're hiring new people. We're losing our regular people in the maintenance department. Now we're having to contract those jobs out. It sounds cheap and better when you hear somebody say we're going to contract it out. But we just can't keep contracting it out. We see now that it's costing more to contract it out.
Thank you. Ms. Lacy? What is your plan to recruit and keep young talent in the city?
Currently, the city has a summer program where we employ some of our young men and young ladies. So I think that is the first step to get them into the workforce and giving them that experience. Also, we have some educational programs, one which is right here at Port Allen High, that they have just recently developed a college where we can have some of those trainings in which we require in the city, and we can allow that to be those courses that they can take to have them prepared to be able to work for the city. As well as we have to get to industry standards. Our pay rates is below standards. So we have to make sure that we are adequately paying, and that could be young, old, middle age. We have to make sure that we paying our employees to be able to retain our employees, as well as when I look at recruiting, I also look at the interviewing process. We want to make sure that they understand how to be interviewed, how to resumes. So if they're not prepared to work even with the city, but they're prepared to even enter into the workforce as well. So we just want to make sure that we get them adequately prepared, as well as giving them the educational opportunities, give them the experience that they need, and give them the pay to retain them once they are hired.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Franklin, what is your plan to recruit and keep young talent in the city?
I plan on bringing on more job creations, more additional recreational centers, more educational centers, as far as something to be able to allow the kids to stay into. Maybe around the summertime, I drove numerous amounts of hours trying to find something, a program to try and fund for the kids to be able to be involved in, because it was the summer. I literally sat there and I watched the kids get put out of the library for excessive noise. And I went on to try and find something for them to actually be able to get into. Saying all that to say that when I was a little girl, the community center was open for the public to actually be able to walk in and get into any type of activities. And now, in all honesty, I honestly feel that it has been turned to a multi-purpose center to where the kids can't even come in without someone having it booked for a baby shower, a wedding, a gender reveal, and things of that nature. So I plan on actually trying to bring on something to the community to be able to get the kids to walk in freely and not something that we'll have to rent.
Okay. Thank you. Ms. Gordon?
I'm going to piggyback on everyone what they're saying. Provide fair pay, equal opportunity. Hire them as the young to come in and train them and let them know that they have to work hard to improve themselves in life and to give them equal pay. Once they know the job and you treat them well on the job site and teach them all that they need to know, they'll stay and want to work for the city.
Thank you. Mr. Payne?
Regardless of age or race, equal opportunity. There's no reason we should have to go outside of Port Allen with the new academic center that we just opened up here in Port Allen. There's got to be talent there. I think the employees, the workforce here need to be able to reach out to these schools and talk to these schools and ask these people, who are your good kids? Who are your kids that are making good grades? And try to get these kids in to work for the city or to work for the city of Port Allen. Instead of going to East Baton Rouge and getting them from Plaquemine or whatever. There's good kids here in Port Allen. There's great kids here in Port Allen. And with the new academic center that just opened, there's no reason why we can't keep the city of Port Allen going with the youth.
Thank you. Mr. Revere, your question.
I guess how to hire and maintain a good workforce. You have to create and maintain a positive work environment in City Hall and citywide. And let your employees know there is an open door policy. If they have a grievance, voice it. Follow the avenues that are available for them. I've been on the personnel committee for, I guess, the last 4 years, and we've heard many grievances. Some of them valid, some of them not so much, just a disgruntled employee. But stress to your employees, we will be fair, we will hear you out. And I guess to also stress our employees, like guys on the gas and water crew at the wastewater treatment plant, there's certain certifications that they need to achieve and maintain. Stress the importance of that to them. And it's rewarding once we see, and we have seen it over the years where some of our employees, yes, they did reach that class 1, that class 2 operator, and to see it happening from within. And we also need to maintain our pay scale, maybe up it a little bit. We have been able to give our employees pay raises the past, I guess, 5-6 years, and maintain a strong benefit package too. So I think that will serve to attract employees.
Thank you.
So I think training is a big thing with employee retention. As a business owner, one of the things that I've always encouraged is the educational aspect. If you want, as it's been mentioned, most of the DPW workers require a certain certification. Let's work with LCTS Louisiana Technical College System, which we have a BRCC campus right here in West Baton Rouge. And let's provide a opportunity during a window time period every year where our employees can obtain the certification, the classes, to move up in rank. Right now, we have issues like certain supervisors are out sick. Well, we need to have a path in place for someone to be able to come up into that rank. So as people retire, we're not losing to the to our workforce. We're encouraging it, and then to maintain residents as these young families come in or grow up in Port Allen. Little quality of life things, a place to go eat, a place to make a small movie theater, better shopping. Those little quality of life things we can do will maintain and help us grow Port Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Dogan. Mr. Hubbard.
I think a revision of the pay scale is needed. Also, one thing on the resumes, I would consider blind resumes in interviews. Blind resumes remove identifying factors such as age and education so that the hiring manager can focus on the skills, experience, and qualifications of the candidate. Applicants are also assessed based on their merit alone. I do believe that we need a connection with the schools to open that communication with those to tell them what the city has available and what is your possibility on a career with the city.
Okay, thank you. Hold the mic, you're fine. That was our final question. Before we take a brief break, I want to invite you all out because the talent center that you guys have referred to, we have a ribbon cutting scheduled this week after the school board meeting. So school board starts at 5, and ribbon cutting should take place about 5:30. So it's something that all the residents of West Baton Rouge need to be part of. I actually serve on a committee that implemented that particular system, and it's something that each of you have spoken to that we can all take advantage of. So without any further ado, Mr. McCann, come forward, please.
Okay, we're going to take a little break right now. I know it's probably taxing on you all sitting there. But we have some other candidates from around persons that are running for these congressional offices, national offices, and anywhere else. If you're here, please raise your hand, and we want to give you an opportunity to speak to your constituents here. Okay, come on up. I know this gentleman, Mr. Peter Williams. I've been knowing Peter a long time, and
good evening. 2 minutes? All right, I can do it in 2 minutes. I want to thank the NAACP. I want to thank the other organization. My name is Peter Williams. I'm running for the 6th Congressional District of Congress. You may have seen me before. I ran for Congress in 2014 when Edwin Edwards and Gary Graves ran. And when I got off the podium and introduced myself, a gentleman with a reporter, he classified me as the irrelevant candidate. And when he said that, it didn't prick me or change me, but it made me realize just how many people in our state are irrelevant to the powers that be. So that made me run, because I didn't find people in the race that was going to take care of the needs of what I'm hearing tonight. Then I ran for Commissioner of Agriculture in 2019. I'm an agriculturalist, I'm a tree farmer. I'm an advocate, a community advocate, and I specialize in 7 components: agriculture, health, housing, education, transportation, recreation, and incarceration, not from the lockup side, but prevention and retention. What I do is strategize for the last 30 years to community meetings like this, and I applaud these candidates. I mean, I've been from East Baton Rouge, West Baton Rouge to Shreveport, and I've been in some live forums, okay? So I commend you. But just on what I heard here, agriculture, you sitting right in the middle of an agriculture community. All plants, petrochemicals. Housing, I'm hearing the rooftops. I want to bring accessibility, accountability, and truth to my campaign. How many of you in here know that since 2010, a Section 8 voucher could be used to pay a mortgage on a home? That's federal. People didn't know this. And the federal government is like this: if you don't ask, they don't tell. And in Washington, there are hundreds of programs that would benefit us as a community. And as a congressman, my job is to call back to the mayor, to the council. We're talking about affordable rooftops. Can you imagine every person on a Section 8 voucher can buy their own home using that voucher? And that's been on the books since 2010. But the landlords, the renters, and all of the folks who make their money on rental property don't want you to hear that. So what I'm gonna bring to the table, my 2 minutes and 15 seconds is up. Peter Williams, number 24 on the ballot. Give me an opportunity. This is a brand new opportunity for all of us, and I'll be your voice, and I'll be steadfast, and I'll be here for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. At this time, we'll take a 2-minute break stretch. We're going to allow each candidate 2 minutes for a closing statement. So 2 minutes to recap who you are, your closing statement, and why you should be elected to your position. Mr. Robinson, you started with the opening and you're going to end with the closing as well. So,
Closing statement.
Well, again, thank you all for coming out. I hope I convinced you to vote for me as the best qualified candidate. I have a degree in accounting. I have over 30 years of government experience. I've worked with housing. I'm working with contractors now. We've been talking about bringing these rooftops. So I'm doing that right now. So I'm not a candidate up here promising I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. Everything I've talked about, housing, infrastructure, I know how to work with them. And I'm asking you to vote for me. Based on what you all have been saying, when you come to city council meetings, you all say, hire the best qualified person for the job. And I'm saying tonight, and I'm showing you tonight, that I am the best qualified person for the job based on my training, my experience, and all of my work history, my commitment to the community. I've worked with churches, nonprofits. I've worked with youth groups. I've been a scout leader, football coach. I've worked grants for our church for youth groups. As a measure of success from that group, we've had 4 teachers of the year. They came in as 16, 17-year-old kids, 15-year-old. From that program, we've had 4 teachers of the year: Ascension, East Baton Rouge, West Baton Rouge, and Iberville. One of them, in our first year, increased the LEAP score test. We've had businessmen come out of that program, ministers, band directors, policemen, other people that just work as citizens in this town raising families. So I know what to do. I know how to get it done. I've done it. I'm not promising. I can do it. And it's based on my qualifications. I'm asking you to let me become your mayor. You're the boss right now. All bosses say they like to hire the best qualified person. That's what you all say. So I'm asking you tonight, boss, that's you all. Hire me for the job. I'm prepared. I'm ready. I've been going to city council meetings since we were over here at the old building. So I've been here a long time asking questions, finding out. I've been fighting for you already. I've been fighting for you. So now, hire me for the job. I came out to hear what you all had to say. I feel since I've been knocking on your doors, it was incumbent upon me to come out here tonight. Thank you very much.
thank you. Clarice, 2 minutes to close it.
Again, I'm Clarice Lacey. I'm your counsel at large. I'm committed to progressive change. I listen to the constituents, and I hear you, and I am committed to being the progressive change and giving the people what they need as a leader. I am proven leadership. At this time, leadership matters. Experience does count. Dedication is required. Through my commitments, I have been able to show and prove to the community that you need leaders that don't mind showing up and that don't mind speaking out. I'm willing to gain more knowledge and be able to understand better ways that I can help grow the city. Through my progressive change commitment, I'm offering everybody the PPPs. Not the PPP loan, but the PPPs, the plan of actions, proposals, and my persistencies. So I ask that you go to the ballot, go to the polls, and vote number 41 for me for progressive change. Thank you.
Again, I am Rhonda Raspberry Franklin, number 42 on your ballot. I am a graduate of Port Allen High School. I am a licensed grain operator. I'm a business owner of 2 businesses in the city of Port Allen, which is Cash Money Tax Services for 5 years and Chasing Race Kennels for 3 years. If elected, I will be a new voice with a new vision, with a new direction for a better future.
Yes, I'm Charlene Gordon, and I'm a council member now. And I want to let you all know that I'm just saying that. I'm no stranger to the city of Port Allen. I work with many government leaders. I know how to go out and work with other people. I volunteer in many organizations. I work with the school. I work in the church. I work in the community. I didn't wait to get elected to do all these things to let them know the city of Port Allen know where my heart is. My heart always has been for the people of Port Allen, and I thought that me being in the leadership where I could help the more people by just me being the citizen of Port Allen. I love people in Port Allen. I love working for the city of Port Allen. I'm no stranger to no one. I would not say that my door is open 24/7. No, that is not true. My phone line is open 24/7. I am a single mother with a son, and I respect my time and your time for you not to knock on my door at 10 o'clock, because there's no problem to be solved at that time. But call me, I got you. You need me, I'm there. I will be your continuing voice, so remember me, the council lady. Your one call, that's all. Number 43.
Gregory Payne, running for City Council for District 2 here in the city of Port Allen. I will be visible to where you can see me anywhere in Port Allen. Stop at my house, my door. There's not anyone in Port Allen that probably don't know me. What I've done for the city of Port Allen, not because of the election, I've always done for the city of Port Allen. And even after I've retired for the last 10 years, I've always done for the city of Port Allen. Again, not for the election, and I will continue to do it whether you vote me in or not. I will always be for the people of the city of Port Allen. Thank you.
Again, thank you everyone for coming out. I hope to get reelected on November 5th. I've been involved in this community my whole adult life. Being a city council member was, I guess, a logical next step, and I've been lucky enough to been elected 5 terms, and I appreciate the people of Port Allen. But we cannot do it alone. There are relationships that need to be, that have been sown and cultivated, and I hope to continue the working relationships that I have with our new sheriff, Jeff Bazeron, clerk of court, Amanda Thies, our assessor, parish president. Those relationships are invaluable because, like I said, our little small town, we can't do it alone. And anytime I feel like we need the help, we can call on those guys, and it's much appreciated. And I hope to continue on growing those relationships and working with the people of Port Allen. Thank you.
A whole mark of my life has been servant leadership, and part of being a servant leadership is sacrifice. So allow me to continue to sacrifice by serving District 3, City of Port Allen. I believe in being slow to speak, quick to listen, and allow me to keep studying to show myself improved. I may not have an answer for any particular issue on the table, but let's work towards that answer. Let's figure out a prudent, efficient, and effective way to solve the problems that we have. Let's stop kicking the can down the road, and let's just grow.
I'm Gary Hubble. I'm running for re-election. I hope that you'll consider that. Again, my message has been in this campaign that people need to sit down and talk. There are many assumptions, which most of them are wrong, and that's where not being able to sit down and talk comes in. I think for us to progress as a people, and as one, is to sit down and talk, respect, compassion, and understanding of each other, and that will go a long way. We don't need to look at this. We need to look at this, because that's all that will ever matter. So I'm hoping that y'all will consider me, and I would be honored to continue to serve as your city council representative.
Thank you, Mr. Holden. Well, at this time, I would like to say a special thank you to the NAACP and Justice for Trail. Please give them a round of applause. No one can do everything, but everyone can do something. So to the candidates here, hats off to you guys. Best of luck. Unfortunately, you're not running against anyone. You're running for an office. There can only be one winner. So it's my hope, prayer, and desire that you all continue to support one another to make a better Port Allen. Because at the end of the day, I think that's what everyone in these seats, everyone came out to hear, what your visions were for a better, brighter future for the city of Port Allen. John F. Kennedy said, the greatest right of an American is to participate in a free and fair election. That's what we have here. You have a right, you have a choice. Not who to vote for, but the fact to vote. So please exercise your right. Thank you guys for allowing me to moderate this tonight. Safe travels to each and every one of you. Hats off to all of you. And please, please go vote. Thank you.